Hi, can you introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Yeah, hi. I'm Sheldon St. Clair, and I work in the project management industry as a project manager, program manager, and PMO consultant
So, how long have you been doing that?
for over 27 years. I've been freelancing for over 20 years, mostly working in the financial services industry in the UK. So, our major banks, our major insurance companies, and large retailers as well.
Okay, so you've been doing this for quite some time, so you would have seen quite a few things in your time. Can you share with me some of the biggest challenges you've come across whilst doing that?
In terms of project delivery, I think kind of like there were three main reasons why projects fail, as defined by the end customer. Firstly, roles and responsibilities. Everyone, not everyone knows what their role is as a project sponsor, subject matter expert, team leader. So roles and responsibilities are quite key. Change management is also important as well in terms of we may build a system, but the user community weren't expecting it, don't know how to use it. There's no kind of like training and onboarding set aside as well. And then thirdly, risk in terms of managing risks, in terms of mitigating risks. I think those are the three kind of like main areas why a lot of projects fail. It's not necessarily down to monitoring and controlling the project. It's all the external factors that aren't deemed important, but really are.
So, from that context, then, so what are the financial implications for companies then when projects fail?
Um, I suppose there are two main ones. Um, the money or the revenue as stated in the business case aren't forthcoming at the time that it was communicated to arrive. And also, there are costs as well and resources. So, a resource was scheduled to complete a project and move on to another one. And because that project's delayed, they're retained on that project, which means that future projects or further projects aren't started when they said they would start, and therefore it becomes a big benefits management issue.
Okay, so what you're saying is then managing projects effectively is critical for the delivery of the project for it to come in on time, on budget. So, with what you do, explain to me some of the solutions you've implemented in order to try and keep track of projects and make sure that they work as they should do.
Robust governance. So, in terms of weekly meetings, daily scrums, making people aware of what's happening on a project and communicating delays quickly and stressing the importance of decisions or making timely decisions, decisions that are efficient and effective. So, yeah, so decision making, but also communicating information quickly and accurately as well.
So, what sort of tools do you use in order to do this?
Um, in terms of managing projects, you can use spreadsheets, you can use paper reports, you can use automated tools like Monday.com or Microsoft Project or Jira or Trello. Um, and I think kind of with the advent of AI in project management, in my mind, that kind of opens up really interesting possibilities.
Okay, so you've mentioned AI, so that means that you're staying up to date. So, how have you used AI in project management?
I've been using AI in project management probably for about 2 years now, two and a half, yeah, 3 years now. This is before ChatGPT came into anybody's consciousness. I use it to transcribe meeting minutes, to produce packs for PowerPoint presentations, for creating project document templates, for completing as a draft copy of content for, say, business cases and project proposals. And then finally, in developing risk register templates and the population of, again, producing a draft with the information you have in order to go back to the sponsor or the users to refresh and refine and review it.
Okay, so that seems as though it's quite comprehensive in terms of the way that you use it. And do you normally share that with the others that you're working with? It's to show them how to do what you're doing, or is it something that's just for your function?
It's just for my function at the moment. In terms of kind of like using AI, a lot, it's not a tool or it's not a concept that a lot of people are familiar with. I think it's only kind of like now that senior management almost are pushing um, their agenda that the company would benefit from a productivity point of view if people were aware of and using AI in their day-to-day work. Some industries do it better than others. There are lots of industries, say for instance the legal industry or sales or marketing, who were, in my view, early adopters of this technology. But other areas are now beginning to wake up to the fact, perhaps they don't even know that they can use it in what they do in terms of increasing productivity and saving time and overwhelm and stress.
Well, I think you're actually being quite modest here because one of the things I know, and you don't seem to have touched on, is the fact that you've actually written a book about AI in project management. So, can you tell us a bit more about that? How the book came about, what your aims and objectives were in writing the book, and how you would like to see it adopted?
Yeah, I've written a number of books in the project management space. I've written books on the development and use of project management templates. I've written a book about setting up a PMO. As I mentioned, I kind of design and build and run PMOs. And I've also written a book about how to become a more effective and efficient project manager. So my latest book is kind of drawing upon the intersection of generational AI and its use in project management. And yeah, so I published that book about 2 or 3 months ago. But yeah, and people who've kind of read it, from project managers and CFOs and CEOs and C-suites executives, have found it really, really useful in giving them an education, or just getting to understand what it is and the possibilities it gives them.
Okay, so what prompted you to write the book?
Um, I've always been looking at how project management is a stressful endeavor. Whether you're a project manager, whether you're a project analyst, business analyst, project coordinator, it is quite stressful, particularly around the reporting of project progress and managing critical path, and also dependencies between projects, whether it's in the traditional environment or in the agile environment. And so I've always been looking at how can we make our life different? How can we make our lives better and happy and faster and smarter? And so therefore I've kind of been using AI or generational AI for over 2 years now, and it's really about using it to produce content, but also using it to develop Gantt charts. The way I kind of like use AI is that you feed it the information and then you request and instruct what you actually want it to do. As one of my kind of other educational aspects, I'm a certified prompt engineer. So in terms of writing prompts or instructions on whether it's ChatGPT or Poe or some of the other tools, it's really, in terms of instructing it effectively and efficiently, it's an art and a science. and so I'm certified in that area as well.
Right. Okay. So that means that you've actually you were an early adopter for one, and you're very much into how AI can benefit yourself and others in the arena of project management, PMO, and just generally project delivery. So, do you want to share with us anything else that you've developed within that realm that can actually help people run projects effectively?
Yeah, so I've created a number of cheat sheet. I've created a number of cheat sheet booklets where for project manager, I provide prompts that a project manager can use to produce, for example, meeting minutes, responses to questions posed by a user, um, the creation of project status reports, the amalgamation or the summation, the merging of status reports into a single document. And for the last 6 months, I have been using a GPT, a custom GPT that I kind of built in my work. So it is almost like a project management assistant where I talk to it from an instructional point of view, um, whether it's on an emotive setting, whether it's analyzing data, the production of charts, production of tables, the taking text and producing bullet points and looking at the next steps in managing a project, who one should communicate to from a stakeholder management point of view, why. Yeah, so I've basically used it as an assistant, as a mentor, as a sidekick, just to help me get smarter and faster and better in what I'm actually doing. And I believe that this is the things to come in the project management industry.
Wow, so you've done that and you've kept this a secret. Why don't more people know about this? Because if we know today, a lot of people are feeling stressed and overwhelmed by this sheer volume of work that they have to do, the deadlines they have to meet, the people they have to satisfy. So if they had something like this, potentially, so how much time would they save by using something like this?
Well, kind of the metrics I've kind of like used for my work, and also reading reports from noted consultancies, suggest that you can save 20%, 30% productivity time. You can increase the likelihood of a project going in on time, within budget, with the features that the customer wants. Certainly helping in managing agile projects a lot better as well.
Okay, so when you've actually used it in your work, and you say you've used it quite recently in a recent project that you were working on, what was the sort of feedback that you were getting from it? Oh, obviously they wouldn't know that you were using this tool or this thing that you've created, but they obviously benefited from it. What sort of feedback were you getting from the reports and the minutes and different things that you were delivering? How was that received?
Well, in three ways really. Kind of firstly, the information presented made sense. So there wasn't a case of, oh, this doesn't kind of like, this information is rubbish. I recognize this information. I don't know it was produced with a human and AI. It seemed logical, it seemed sensible. I can't afford to argue against it, so, which was good for me, because you do kind of hear that in terms of how some people use AI, you can tell it was been written by it wasn't written by a person, wasn't written by a human, and some of the information could be gibberish, made no sense. So therefore, that was kind of quite good. And also, it invites because of the instructions I was giving it. It generated lots of conversation, lots of around the project. So it was business as usual. It wasn't kind of like, oh, this information is foreign. The AI understood the project. The AI I built understood the company. The AI that I built understood the people working within the company. It wasn't a cookie cutter approach. It was customized to the personality and the culture of the company I worked for, which is which I found really, really satisfying. You can fine tune, you can customize a GPT to fit your unique situation.
So sounds really exciting, and the fact that you were able to get such results and feedback from people is, you know, kudos to you. A question for you, which I know will be playing on some people's mind, is what about the ethical side of AI? How is there any impact of this in this tool that you've created? How do people know that their information is secure? There's no chance of it being leaked to, say, competitors, and it's containable.
That really depends on the nature of the tool itself and the data that is used. Yeah, there is a big kind of like concern or discussion about the ethical and data privacy in using AI. But in my mind, it's no different to when you're searching the web and you're asking questions on the browser, because as project managers, that's what you do. If you work in product management, which is effectively agile, you spend a lot of time putting in sensitive information on the internet, on the browser, and that information is collected by the ISPs, it's collected by the likes of Google and Facebook. So in my mind, there's no difference to that. You've got the same robustness of ethical considerations and data privacy informations using AI as using the internet browser. However, kind of saying that, I know kind of governments, both in Europe and in the US, are bringing in or looking to bring in rules and regulations around that, and we've just got to be cognizant of that as well. And then finally, in terms of the training that I provide, training and coaching, I provide to project managers around using generational AI to run, manage and control and monitor their projects. Ethics and data privacy is one of the aspects that I teach about.
Okay, so you've mentioned that you do actually help and support other project managers and PMOs and people who are working on projects in general. So, how do people get in contact with you? How can they see the tool that you've created and see if it's relevant for them? So, let us know how people can get in contact with you.
Okay, well, in three ways or two ways really. Firstly, I have a school a community on the Skool platform. There's a platform called Skool. Skool spelled SKOOL, and my community is called AI Project Management Connect. So it's on a Skool community. It's a free community, and we talk everything AI. I hold weekly Q&A sessions with project managers. I provide hints and tips and instructions and prompts to use in managing their work. I provide resources in that as well. And just basically, we've got people in there who just want to find out more about AI, what it is, what are the strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities within this tool. So I think, yeah. So I think the main thing will be visiting my free community on the Skool website and just kind of find out a bit more.